Okay, welcome back to Violent Money TV. Today, I am joined by one of the top flyweights in Europe, Aaron Aby, who is back in action. Octagon 63, November 9th. We will get to that fight in just a minute. But as we were just talking about them before we started recording, I had a watch of the vlogs you've been putting up on your YouTube channel. And like you said, you've been struggling to even find the time to get content for them, which I'm sure is something that a lot of fighters go through. But it does seem like your work rate is taken another level for this fight. And I'm sure that that speaks to the importance of this matchup, but also how much you rate the opponent.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've always like uh had good work rate, and I'm like I coach myself, and there's some people you need to drag to the gym, and there's others who need kicking out of the gym because they're there too much. And I feel like I've always been one of those people who needs to be told to do less rather than
Mm.
do more. But for this fight and who I'm going up against, and on the back of the last fight, I want to be able to push the pace in this fight, and I want to be able to, I've got good conditioning anyway, and I feel like it can play a big part in this fight. So it's been something I've been looking to like do from the start of camp, making sure I'm like taking my body just to the point of breaking with conditioning and the volume of training, especially in these weeks I'm in now. Obviously, as we get closer, I'll start toning it down and looking to peak. But that's something that I've definitely been looking to do this camp, and that just sits well with who I am as well as a person and my fighting style. So I definitely believe in this process.
Is that one of the big takeaways from the last fight was wanting to place more of an emphasis this time around on not only the increased work rate with doing more sessions and pushing yourself to the limit, like you said, but then also, like you said, being able to weaponize your cardio because you know that you've got that in your back pocket.
Yeah, I feel like that was the big thing. Like I'm probably doing a couple more sessions weekly than I normally would do. Sometimes just one, but they're harder. I'm doing more sparring, more shark tanking, more stuff on the air bike. Uh, but I feel like after the Sam Creasy fight, I fought the fight at his pace, and that doesn't suit the style and the way I fight. And that was my biggest regret after the fight, because I felt like after the fight I could have done five more rounds,
Mm.
and we just fought five fives. And that was partly because of how smart he is as a fighter, and he slows stuff down and know when to like pick things up. And that was just partly because I respected his skill set, that I didn't push the pace I would usually push. So that was one of the big takeaways from the last fight, and then going into this fight, looking at Zhumagulov and his fighting style and how he fights. I know it's going to be a fast-paced fight, so it's like, right, let's put the work rate in. Let's increase the conditioning. Let's make sure it's our strength and our tool that we can be using.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I suppose this is a benefit of fighting a guy that had a fair few fights in the UFC. I'm sure that you keep an eye on like the European scene and stuff like that for people who could be potential opponents, things like that, especially in Octagon. You kind of know the lay of the land to some degree. But when you get an opponent like this who you've already seen fight multiple times, that must be nice to kind of just get a name through and go immediately, you've got a few ideas in your mind of not only how the fight might play out, but also how to prepare for this one.
Yeah, I just remember when I got the name come through, I remember thinking, I've watched this guy and
Mm.
felt like he'd been robbed like two or three times in the fights that I'd watched of him in the UFC. So I knew who it was straight away when they sent it me, because I watched the fights. I like enjoy watching fights, and I remember obviously watching Zumagulov and thinking he was robbed on a few decisions when I watched him in the UFC. So I knew who he was straight away. I knew it was going to be a fun fight, a tough fight, and one that excited me.
Do you place much emphasis in terms of what this fight would mean? Beating a guy like Zumagulov, who, like you said, it's not only you that knows his name from fighting in the UFC. This is a guy that I think, when you look at his record on paper, it might not jump off the page, but for people like yourself who have seen the fights, he was quite highly rated in the UFC. And, the flyweight division in the UFC is super high level. There really isn't that much space in terms of, contenders that aren't super high level. The talent level is just so high right now, it seems, in this weight class. But do you place much emphasis on what a win here could do in terms of the next fight going forward, potentially getting another shot at the title, things like that?
I'm trying not to, if I'm
Yeah.
honest. I'm trying not to think past the fight. It obviously comes up in your mind. For me, it's like a big fight. Like, if you remember, I was asking because I weren't getting a fight for a while. I asked for David Dvorak. I asked for Stipe Miocic, big names, and then this one comes up. It's like a big name UFC vet. I think he was ranked number 9 in the world at one point. He's beaten like Ali Bagautinov, who fought Mighty Mouse for the UFC belt. So it's a really big and tough challenge that excites me. Like, after losing the belt last time round, I did think I'm going to need 2-3 wins to be back in there fighting for it. But then they chuck Zhumagulov on the paper, and you're like, oh, you beat this guy and you're back in the mix for the title, because I'm sure if he beats me, he'll be fighting for the title next. So that has crossed my mind, but like I said, I'm trying not to think about it, because you just got to focus on what's ahead of you, and I don't want to be like trying to jump the gun or think about this next thing when this exciting fight and big test is in front of me. So, like, appreciating it for what it is as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said with the watching the vlogs you've put up, those intense sessions at the Inspire Performance Center, how is that gym coming along? Because I know that you've trained different places all over the UK and stuff, but it definitely feels like, at least from watching those kind of short insights into the training videos, like you've got a really strong little stable going on there at the moment.
Yeah, the gym's been growing, and it's probably had its biggest growth the last, I'd say 12, 18 months. Going through, we've like literally moved buildings, and I spend all my night times there, coaching the team and training with the team as well. And some of the youngsters coming through, I'm talking from like 14 to pros, are making are going to be making big names for themselves, and are doing great things at the moment. I'm sure you've seen some of the results of some of the lads who've been like short in their amateur careers, and then obviously we have some of the pros coming through to train as well at the gym, which is always great for the team and myself. So I've been spending, I always spend my nights at the gym, but the level on the mat now is really increased, where the guys are pushing me and slamming me. Uh, and the time, and it's been great to see him watch and progress. And then I've been fortunate in the daytimes as well to be spending time working with Phil Dean at Aspire, and Steve at Northwest Fight Academy, and all the people there. So I feel like we've got that good mixed, and just bringing everyone along. Like tonight, the guys from Preston are coming to train at the gym, so they can get to mix it up with our guys. And they're doing great, and I'm proud of the team, and I'm proud of their growth as well. And I call them my retirement plan.
One of the things that you mention in those vlogs is that you don't actually know whether you've been to Bratislava before, because you went to Slovakia a long time ago, which I thought was an interesting story that maybe we didn't get to dive into. So I want to just let you tell this story, because who knows, this might be the second trip.
Yeah, so I do actually need to look at this, but I played for Wales as a kid in football, and we played Slovakia. So we went to Slovakia, but like when you're 14, 15, you like, I didn't pay any attention to whereabouts in Slovakia we were
Yeah.
going. I just went along with a trip with the team and played and actually scored a goal for Slovakia. It was an own goal. So it wasn't a good day. I think we lost 4-1 that day. So it was a bad trip for us, and I'm hoping this one will be better. But I was asking one of the lads in the gym the other day who played for Wales with me, who now just uses strength and conditioning in the gym, if it was Bratislava, and he thinks it was, but again, he's like me and he can't remember either. So it's something I need to to find out for sure. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like you need to, it would be a nice little narrative to then go back there after all these years, completely different circumstances, but come away with a win this time, and
Yeah,
obviously a huge
definitely.
win at that. The final thing I wanted to get your opinion on, another big fight that is coming up, for fight fans in, well, I would say Europe, but it's going to happen in America. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of European interest. A fighter that I know that you have a very great relationship with, Dakota Ditchver, is going to be fighting for the PFL championships. Her rise has been absolutely incredible, and her toughest fight to date against Tyler Santos in those PFL finals. Give me your thoughts on that, and what you've made of Dakota's, rise through the PFL this year, going from winning that PFL Europe tournament to suddenly being, a global star within the space of, like, I don't even know, 8 months, something crazy like that.
Yeah, I will be there at PFL. I will be going. Uh, I feel like we say, if stardom has rose over 8 months or 18 months, if you include
Mm-hmm.
the European comp last year. However, it's a lifetime of work that she's put in to get to where she is now. Her stardom has rose over the past 18 months or whatever massively, but she's always been ready for that, like chipping away at it. But I remember, like training and coaching with her from the very start, knowing how good she was and knowing the level she was going to get to, and she's just dedicated her life to improving and getting better. And I feel like she's making that move forward now, and she's got Talia Santos ahead of her, who will be and is her toughest test compared to Jenna Bishop as well. That them two are both tough tests for her, but one that she's been ready for. She just hasn't got the chance to prove it yet. Everyone who's been put in front of her so far, you know, she's walking through, and the challenges are going to become more for her. But I feel like she keeps proving herself every time, and like she's even got to a point where she beats people that well that everyone say she's beating cans, but she's not. She's just making them look that way. Jenna Bishop is no can whatsoever. Like decorated jiu-jitsu athlete and done really well as MMA, and competed really well with Ty Santos. Ty Santos has been in the UFC for Valentina Shevchenko and people like that, and now it's Dakota's chance to go and prove how good she is. So I'm looking forward to it. I feel like the matchups have happened at the right time for her, and people keep questioning, is she ready for this test? Is she ready for this test? And she definitely is. She just has to keep proving it time and time. She gets to those tests, and she's a talent. She's a star, and she's going to go and keep proving that now. And I'm looking forward to being out there in November and seeing her win that £1 million and becoming PFL world champ.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a special night and a special moment when that happens. Aaron, thank you for your time. Good luck, not only for going out to the PFL, but of course, November 9th. Zhumagulov, buzzing that you've got this matchup, not only because, like you said, I didn't see this one coming, and they could have offered it, I'm sure, to a lot of people. I think it's great that you are the guy that is going to get this fight because, like you said, without placing too much, kind of weight on what this fight could mean, you wanted a big fight, you get it on a
Yeah.
stage like OKTAGON 63.
No,
The potential return to Bratislava, it's all falling into place.
no, I agree. And like I was put a few like post up when I signed the contract, and loads of people were guessing, and nobody guessed it would be Zumagulov. And I didn't think I expected it to come through on the day and get to me, but I'm fortunate. Octagon are doing excellent things, and as we've seen on the weekend in Frankfurt and everything, and I'm proud to be a part of it and represent it and take on these big fights and big challenges. And thanks for having me on as well. Violent Money doing a great job promoting UK MMA.
Thank you very much, mate. And yeah, have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the chaotic schedule up leading up to fight day. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and
we'll catch you later,
thank
man.
you.
Nice one. Thank you.